Hello everyone, welcome back to the rainforest. I'm your host Jock. We're going to do a wet shave. This channel is about wet shaving and in particular straight razors. I'm going to showcase a couple of new designs from Woolfblades. I'm going to shave with a razor. I've also honed my own eventually after 2 years, so I want to test that as well. And then talk about some general stuff that might be interesting for you. And then we're going to have a beard off. We're going to shave off this beard and just enjoy ourselves. So I am using Louie today from MasterSoap Creations. It's a fantastic product. We essentially right at the bottom, so this is most likely going to be my last use of the splash. And obviously paired it with a soap. I don't generally do that. It's just because that's my nature. Fantastic scent. So the brush I'm going to use, for anybody interested in affordable quality shave brush, I always recommend Simpson's, and in particular this Commodore X3. Extremely good value for money. The knot, if I can remember correctly, is 24 millimeters. The loft looks like 52ish if I've got a guess. Nice comfortable handle. It sits nice in the hand. Many ways of gripping and manipulating it to get your shave done. So I'm going to talk a lot, so it's important just to get my prep right. So the razors, Woolfblades, they are made in RWL32, which is a very high-end premium steel. It retains the edge incredibly well. It is resistant to corrosion, and also it is quite difficult to cut. So it doesn't like being cut on stones. So we can maybe talk about that approach as well. So I just quickly want to make a little bit of lather. I'll leave the rest on. Then I'm going to show you first of all my razor, and I'm also going to drop in pictures of how I went about honing my razor and understanding where the bevel is into relation to my honing technique and my stone. So it's the age-old trick of using a permanent marker, a Sharpie, coloring in the marking the bevel, and then doing a single stroke. Now guys, I say a single stroke because I see some of you put a permanent marker on and work quite a lot on one side and then switch to the other side. Which is not great because you want to be very precise. You want to do one stroke only, so that you can exactly see where it is. A lot of working is not going to do that for you. It's going to remove a lot of the permanent marker. In honing, you want to be precise. So that's the one, and I use a very smooth stone like a black Arkansas, and I give it one rolling stroke over because this was a smiling razor, and one on the other side, and you'll clearly see what it is. So the first razor I want to introduce, this is not, or at least the steel. So this is Damascus from Damasteel. This is lateral pattern, so you will see on the spine that it's going this way instead of this. So this is being made specifically for Trevor by Damasteel. Nobody else gets this steel, and it creates a very interesting pattern when honed. Also with the steel, different kinds of steel going this way on the edge, you would also get a reflection on that, and that might make for a very interesting shave. So, you know, the build quality on these razors is very, very good. This is a straight edge in jade. So this is one. Let me just put it here out the way. Then the second is going to be a wash and repeat. It's also lateral pattern Damascus, but in smiling format. So there we go. These two I'm not going to try immediately today. I'll make a plan and maybe returning them to Trevor a bit later. Because I've got so many things to do. And then his new range. So this was the straight edge. Here's another straight edge. It's a different color, but you also will hopefully see it's got a flatter profile. The blade sits deeper, it's shallower. It's essentially the same blade, except this is in RWL 32 straight edge with that very dangerous French point on it. The other interesting thing, you'll see the blade face mirror polished, and the spine and the tang is all matte finish, which I think gives a great contrast. This one in orange, it's got the carbon fiber aligners in there. You will also see a very thin bevel on this. Trevor has changed his setup slightly. He's using a diamond disc to cut the initial bevel, and we'll talk about that hopefully when I'm shaving and I remember. So that's the one. Obviously that comes also in a smiling format. This one in a very nice bright red. I really like it. I might not return it to Trevor. We'll see, maybe we have some kind of discussion. In any case, here we go. So once again, mirror polish blade face, matte finish on the spine, and look at this grind. It is tapered thick to thin, going towards the toe, but the size of the blade remains exactly the same. It's quite a difficult visually to grasp and also to grind. So Trevor really an artist in what he does. These are all Commodores. So these are the two razors. I want to give this one a go on one side of my face, and I'm not going to say anything. You guys can judge from the shave, and then I want to introduce my razor, which I've had now for more than 2 years, and I've eventually decided to own it up. So double notch at the top, quite a thicker grind, so it's thicker than a quarter hollow. This was custom spec with Trevor, very thin spine. It's also not a very large blade, nice long tang, skinny scales, sits very deep in the razor, very shallow profile and look. So there's only one of these in specification. I know all Trevor's razors are unique, but he's got a formula for what he's doing, and this is outside of that range. I'll put a description in of how I honed, what stones I've used to hone this. So let's continue with the lather, because that's the most important component. And then we can maybe talk about honing. So RWL is not that difficult to hone. It just takes a bit more effort, takes a bit more practice, and you need, typically if you're going to reset the bevel, I would stay away from natural stones. I would go for synthetic stones, Shapton glass, 600 DMT diamond plate or something like that if you need to reset it. What I used and what I would actually recommend is a set of 3 synthetic stones from J&S, his synthetic range. It's got a 400, 600 and an 800 in. I used the 400 to set the bevel, and then I went to, because that stone can be used in a variety of ways, I then went with 1K synthetic, 3K, 6K, 8K king. The 1, 3 and 6 were Suehiro stones, and the 8K king followed by a Suita. The reason for the Suita, I think the Suita on already set bevel on RWL, the way Trevor does it, is a great stone to go and do the pre-finishing on that. And then I finished on that Tanaka Ozuko, the Asagi, which I have shown on the channel. As I say, I will put some descriptions in links and descriptions down below. I seldom do, but I'll do in this case. I'll also list the products. I know a lot of you have asked for that previously. Right, so I've got plenty of lather here. I think we've worked the beard very, very nice. So I'm going to be a bit quiet, and then we are going to get shaving. Very nice in striking red. Let's tackle the difficult side of my face. Okay, so I will have to say something. I've shaved many Woolfblades razors, and this is the best edge I've tested. This is very good. And I think I know why. It's having that great cutting capability of that diamond wheel he's using to set the bevels. So as I said, that is the most difficult. Let me rephrase, it's not difficult, it's just time consuming. And you need to be patient, and you need to have stones that, like diamond, which is going to be not taking any prisoners when it's coming to cutting high-end premium steels. So guys, if you want to learn about steels, yeah, Trevor, fantastic design. I really like. Very good. So I just want to put that out the way, and then I want to give my own razor a go to feel how a J-net edge feels. Yeah. Yeah, now. Oh man, that's, yes, okay, so I'm full of soap everywhere and hairs. Yeah, very good. So guys, if you're still watching, in the comments below, if you had to come up with a 7-day set of Woolfblades razors, what would you want to see in that set? And so, as an example, I'll give you an idea of what I would like to see in a set like this. Is to have 5 razors in this configuration. All right. A combination between smiling and straight edges in different colors, and don't mark them. Have a box, mark through Monday through to Sunday, and you can rotate your razors into the slots when you want to use them. So 5 colorful, high modern razors like this. That's what I would recommend, and then have 2 razors in Damascus, 1 smiling, 1 straight, maybe in different scales or a different look if you look. So that's what I encourage you to do, is leave a comment and tell me what would your dream setup be for Woolfblades. Alright, so I want to do a second pass just to clean up. And then we'll get into the post shave. And then also I encourage you to, I just want to get some water in here. If you want to have me discuss or showcase a specific topic, if it's honing, if it's lather or shave questions, leave them below. I'll shout out your name, I'll tag you, and we'll do a discussion in my next shave video. So if you guys can start telling me what you want to see, then I'll start doing those again in that format. So let's finish up here. I want to thank you for joining me on this video. Thank you for watching. I don't put out a lot of content, so when I do, I hope you guys find it useful, or at least just something to look at. Also a massive shout out to Fernando. You know, I feel about your soaps. They never disappoint. Talking about soaps, in my next video, it's a shave I've wanted to do, but I've been saving that soap now for for 2 years, no, it's even longer, to cure it a bit. It's a soap that came out slightly different than intended, made by Fernando, and it's his cedarwood, orange and cedarwood. He had a batch where he added way too much silk in there, and some of the local banter was, it's a soap that should have been in a tube, not in a tub, because it's so soft, and it's because of the mistake he made by adding way too much silk. Into that soap. And so I purchased one. It was such a great soap. I finished it immediately in a very short time. It's about all I shaved with. And I reached out to Fernando, and he said he had one left, his very last one, and I took that. And so for me, that is the best soap I have shaved with ever. Guys, excuse, I'm going here for glass smooth finish. Also a very good indication if you can essentially dry shave against the grain after using a soap because of the residual sweetness. As I say, Fernando soaps, spectacular for those of you that don't know. Okie dokie. a great tallow soap, and even vegan soaps that is formulated great, so it's going to help your skin to relax. It's got a lot of nourishment in, lots of oils, butters. Let that absorb into the skin, just let it sit there a bit, and that's how I do my post shave, and then finish up with a little bit of splash, the witch hazel based splash, and also hyaluronic acid. So for those of you who don't know, I'm 54, and part of the reason my skin looks still youngish to some degree is looking after it with good quality products. It wasn't always the case, but I've seen the results, and I make sure it's part of my routine, looking after my skin. So as an example, you can put on a hyaluronic acid, and then put on, once that's absorbed, 20 seconds later, you can add your sunscreen with a UV protection, and then you're ready to go. So let's take this off. So when will I know if I've had a great shave? In about an hour and a half from now, 2 hours from now, and later, is how I am going to know if I've had a great shave. But I can already tell you this is going to rock. My hyaluronic acid essentially finished, so we are going to reload. Thank you, Fernando. It's a great product. I've said before, my wife knows skincare. She's got her own business, and she has incorporated this product into her range and her treatment, and the results is incredible. It's a great favorite amongst customers. So I would, let's say this is on my face just a couple of seconds, and then if I was going out, I would put on a sunscreen. If you're in South Africa and you say, Jock, recommend me sunscreen, here we go, free ad for these guys. Sunscreen, this is absolutely fantastic stuff, non-greasy, absorbs into your skin, UV 50, and all the bells and whistles that go with that. Fantastic product, nice moisturizer too. So we are using the last bit of this. And now we are finished with this. I think is maybe 1 or 2 drops still left. I'm just going to splash it on there, and then we will get a new splash going forward. Absolutely wonderful shave. I appreciate each and every one of you if you've essentially watched the entire video. Let me know if you did. And then I'll see you guys on the next shave with that wonderful soap. And remember to leave a comment about what you want to see on this channel.